Okay. And like, what's like 80/20 of editing that you want to spend most of your time on? Okay. Because I think editing is like biggest bottleneck in pretty much this entire process, right? Like, why is editing so hard? Like a ton of you guys put editing as like, okay, the main thing that you're struggling with. Why is editing so hard? Right? I think editing is so hard because pretty much, traditionally you would need to have a bunch of freelancers that you're spending a ton of time with to that you're paying, and then freelancers, you pay them on average, I don't know, let's say like on the very, very low end, $20, maybe $200 to sometimes, I paid $1,000 for a video basically before, right? Like $1,000 per video edit, right? And that's been very, very ass to pay $1,000 for an edit, right? And like the problem with like freelancers is that they don't have, um, like they're not reliable, like let's just not reliable, no guidance, like no, and like no, I'll just say like no guidance, right? And like when they're not reliable, meaning like they deliver late, right? And they're like relatively expensive, that's like no bueno. And then if there's like no guidance, like they don't know what to do, right? And like hard to communicate with, right? This is traditionally been the problem with editing that's made it like so difficult in order to really figure out, right? And like there's definitely like a couple of fixes, but this is when I talk to people about, hey, like why are they struggling with editing, or like why is editing like the main bottleneck, then you kind of run into you run into this issue, right? In terms of like really, you're like, okay, thinking about, okay, editing is like the main bottleneck. If we were to like break it down sub even more, right? What is the different components of editing, and what is the most difficult part about editing? And so it's like, okay, when you look at editing, different types of editing, bottleneck, specification, inside of editing, and then why it is difficult. Not why it is difficult. It's what is 80/20 of editing, right? So you know where to spend your time on, right? This is like most important. Okay, so let's break it down right now. So with editing, okay, different components of editing, it's a couple of things. Number one, it's your A roll. So like your talking head. And then there's your B roll, supporting images or video. One more. Take water for me, please. Thank you. You're the best. And then there's music, there's transitions, there's sound effects. Put maybe sound effects to be up here above transitions. And then there is and then let's call it like motion graphics. Okay. This is like different components of editing, right? This is like how you would break it down, right? And what is most important in terms of editing? I want you guys to think like, okay, like what is the reason we have B-roll, like we have music, sound effects, transitions, motion graphics, and then like A-roll, B-roll? Like what is the reason there's like so many different components to it? Okay. Most importantly, like a function of video editing is to hold retention. And in terms of a rule, like something new happens every 5 to 7 seconds. And then like to hold retention, you also have sound effects, so that it's like it's audioly like stimulating. And then you have transitions, so it's like visually stimulating. And then you have so like all this like hold retention, right? And then secondarily,